who are the coaches from the Coaches Infinite Answers. Who the hell are we? Hello, and welcome to episode 4 of the CIA Coaches Infinite Answers. And we're happy to be back. Got a nice vacation in, or at least I had a nice vacation. Did you have a nice vacation?
I had a great vacation. I'm still on vacation, actually. I don't go back to work till next Monday. So.
All right. Well, we cursed enough last episode, so I'll not curse you out now, but I want to.
Why? Because I'm off?
Yeah, I want another week off. You kidding me?
Please. Man, I don't know. It's a hard job, man. I mean, somebody's got to do it.
The shitstorm I came into yesterday. Holy crap.
Oh, because you're off for a while?
Yeah, off for a while, and it's like in IT, things go live on quarters, you know what I'm saying? So like July 1st is
quarter
start of a new quarter. Yeah, it's the way it goes. So
you use the acronym JJO in IT?
January.
Yeah, January, April, July, October.
I've never used that, but it's true.
We use that a lot.
JJO
in the fire service.
I'll have to bring that up
especially in the district, because every quarter we check everybody's license and certifications and yada yada yada.
I'll have to bring that up next meeting, see if anybody remembers it.
Yeah, JJO.
Awesome. All right. So I think we wanted to start out, just do a quick recap of what we did for vacation. I saw a couple videos you posted. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
I'll go first this time. I'm usually deferring to you. We took a week and went up to Deep Creek and had a house. There was 12 or 13 of us.
Did you do Airbnb, or did you do it through something else?
We always vacation as a family, so it's a large group. We always do it through a realtor company there.
Yeah.
Whatever one of their, no free plugs, so whatever the realty company is in Deep Creek. But
hey, you never know. Maybe they give you a discount next time.
Right. But yeah, it's, of course, you get into that. We're at that group size where it's really hard to find a 12 or 13 person house. They're like 8 or 18.
Right.
We're kind of in between there. And now that the boys are older and bringing friends and this, that, and the other thing, so the number is going to continue to grow. Had some extended family come in for a few days and hang out with us.
That's awesome.
You mentioned the video. One of the things we always do while we're there, we go up to the top of the mountain up where Wisp is and ride around through the neighborhoods, because for years they were just streets that they hadn't built the developments yet.
Right.
So they were just empty streets, and we would, when the kids were really young, your screen just went green. Sorry. When they were really young, we would count deer and stuff like that, and see what number each night we would do it, and it was a way to get them to settle down. You're probably familiar with that. At this age group, your girls.
What?
Yeah. Try to put them in a car, settle them down.
Yes, I know.
But for we try to go to Deep Creek every couple of years, because that's our cheaper vacation.
Right.
2 years ago we were in the Finger Lakes, and the year before that we were in Disney. So we throw a Deep Creek in there because it's kind of the cheaper one. We've been seeing that bear you mentioned the video I showed. That's the third trip in a row we've seen that bear.
Oh, really? That's cool.
And how do I know it's that bear? Because I'm just assuming it is. I really don't know, but it's been in the exact same area, the exact same neighborhood, and has a collar on. And
it's like when I catch the fish over and over again, my dad be like, "You're catching the same fish."
Right. Tag it or something. But no, it's cool. I mean, it was a good time, relaxing. Definitely got off the diet while I was on vacation.
Yeah, you and me both. I
enjoyed it. I wish I had been in the rink with you, but that was a fleeting thought that just came and went while I was on vacation. I was like, oh yeah, Coach Ergo's at the rink. Have to check social media tomorrow, see how he's doing.
Oh, I'm not that bad.
A lot of swimming. We did a lot of swimming, a lot of fishing.
That's awesome.
Some
How was
boating.
the fishing? Did you guys catch anything good?
We caught a couple. My younger nephew likes to. I'm a more catch and release guy when it comes to freshwater fishing. He caught a couple keeper perch.
Okay.
A couple keeper smallmouth. It was good enough. It wasn't great, but it was good enough to keep him occupied. And definitely a great way. Sit on the dock and put a worm on a hook, throw it in the water, and drink a few cold ones.
Yeah. That's the relaxing kind of fishing.
That was some great fishing for that. But that was it, man. It was really laid back. Lots of practical jokes going on. A lot of people had marshmallows in their pillowcase and
nice
Fruit Loops in their slippers and things like that. So
that's
a good time.
Awesome.
Now you went somewhere I want to go. I love that place, that area, especially where you were in Maine.
You know what? I'm going to be real honest with you, and I hope my brother-in-law doesn't listen to this too much or take it to heart. But yeah, I wasn't impressed with Maine.
Really?
And here's why. My aunt lives in Maine. A bunch of my friends are from Maine. They talk about Maine, and they talk about it like it's like the fountain of youth or something. Like you're going to go there and just be overwhelmed by the beauty and wonder of Maine. And I wasn't, and it wasn't like it was bad. I didn't like not like it. I just think it's like when you're going to go see a movie that you think is going to be the best movie ever,
Mm-hmm.
and it's good, but it's not the best. And that's kind of where I was with Maine. But to fill everybody in, what I did was I was asked to help coach the Hockey Night in Boston junior high and sophomore teams, which was July 6th through the 11th. That was when that tournament was going on and outside of Boston in Haverhill. I got to get used to saying that Haverhill because it's not Haverhill. I got corrected. No, it's Haverhill.
Right.
Haverhill. Yep. It looks like Haverhill. That's wrong.
But it's not Worcester. It's Worcester.
That's right. Just get it straight or you will be ridiculed in true Boston fashion. So Meg's brother-in-law lives outside South Portland. And so what we did was we left Wednesday. I got out of work, I don't know, sometime after lunch. So we got up around midnight to my brother-in-law's house. But then we were able to spend July 4th there, and then Friday there, and then Saturday I borrowed my brother-in-law's car and made my way down to Haverhill and coached. I could talk for hours about it, but I already talked about it on the DMV Prospects podcast. So if you want to hear how that went, go listen to that podcast. It was an awesome tournament. Awesome tournament. All the kids were awesome. I met a bunch of awesome parents that were motivated, open to hear like people's advice. None of the games really got out of hand. The refs were awesome, which is rare to say, but like stuff where like they weren't calling ticky-tack icing calls. They weren't calling, so they were just like, just play the game. Super cool. The only kind of like opportunity I would say for the rink, which is hard anywhere when it's 90 degrees and humid outside, is the ice was just trash. It was
with that many games. I mean,
yeah. Well, even in the morning, man, it was just super.
Yeah, so humid though.
So humid, yeah. So it's tough to do, especially with that many people. I mean, over 600 kids or something like that were there, all walking in and out of the rink all day. Definitely is hard to do, but the kids had a blast. Ben and I had a blast. The junior high team went 3-1-1, which is awesome.
Nice. Nice.
The sophomore team went 1-3-1. But the games were close. Where like some of the junior high teams, we won one game 9-1, then we lost one game 8-1, and it was like the talent was a little bit, not the talent. Sorry, the teams were a little bit inconsistent just because like one team was almost predominantly of 2 prep schools.
So like they had guys that played together.
Yeah, like last season. Like
right.
4 out of the 6 D were D partners last year. Like so, and you could tell. I mean, the way they moved the puck, you were like, "There's no way that those guys just came together and started playing this week." And then some other teams, obviously the skills gap a little bit there. The sophomores, it was a little bit more consistent. Like we lost a game by 1, we lost a game by 2, tied a game, we won a game by 1.
They lost the one game 1-0, didn't they?
Yep. And it was just up and down the ice too, up and down the ice, back and forth and back and forth. Goalies played great. It was fun hockey. Good for the guys to hear and see too. This is the one story I'll tell is they pick all-stars to play in an all-star showcase on the Friday, which unfortunately I couldn't stay and watch. But the way they pick it is at the end of each game, each coach, and if you have 2 coaches, each get 1 vote, picks the best forward, the best D, and the best goalie from their team and the other team. And all of those votes get tallied along with other people that are up in the stands do the same thing. They watch a whole game, pick the best forward, the best B, the best goalie. And that's before any of the goalie's stats are turned in. It's before like any of like the assists are posted or anything like that. So it's purely just on who stood out to you. And that's what we're trying to get these kids to understand because people want to see them play hockey.
Right.
They're not looking for, 3 goals, but you got them all cherry picking in the neutral zone, or you're not breaking the puck out, or you're not back checking, or like all those things we said, you guys need to, those things will stick out. And it was awesome because the guy who ran the tournament, or one of the guys who ran the tournament, came in the locker room, explained the whole process to everybody, handed out these envelopes for the All-Star game, and it mirrored, if every kid in the room could, I think if they were to look in the mirror, would say, that kid motored all week.
Yeah.
Sure, he got a couple goals, but there were some other guys that got goals that didn't go, but they took plays off. They didn't necessarily, not to say they played bad, but they didn't back check every time, or maybe they were a little out of position, or searching for a goal. Again, that's not to take away from anybody. Everybody played really well. But it was good to see the reward of those guys, those 3 or 4 guys that really, truly, I mean, man, there were a couple guys, and I think I'll say his name because it's on social media. Chris Pabecki from the junior high team. I think that's right. Might have been. Yeah. Junior high team got selected out of the All-Star games to come back as part of the junior high team made of All-Stars that competes in the major showcase.
Right.
Which is super cool.
Yeah. That's a big honor.
Big honor. And actually, he may be a sophomore then if he's that.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is. They take a sophomore. And
he's a sophomore. Not a junior high team.
Put him in the major.
Sorry, you watched 10 or you coached 10 games in 5 days.
Yeah, you get a little confused.
Kind of go together.
He had that awesome shootout goal too.
He had a good shootout goal. You know what play sticks out to me though is we were tied or down 1 at the end of the second period before we went in. They cut the ice in the middle of the second period because each team had 2 goalies, so each goalie would get half a game, and they cut the ice once in like the halfway point, and then you'd get to go in the locker room. And then we had a face-off with like 10 seconds left, and I was like, you need to win it back to the point and get it over to Drew at the middle ice at the point. And man, he won it clean back, went over to Drew. He went to the front of the net, screened the goalie, goal, 2 seconds left in the period. You couldn't have drew it up any better. It was perfect. The execution, that's like the epitome of a coach telling a player exactly how it could go and the player doing exactly that. And then it working perfectly and scoring. It was awesome. Super awesome play. So that's go ahead.
I think that kid's going to go far.
Yeah. A lot of those kids probably will.
Yeah.
Good group of guys. The way they gelled. Oh, last thing. I promise. Last thing. the way they gelled off the ice too, hanging out at the hotel, no like big cliques and like excluding other kids, like super cool to see. Really good group of kids. And then I went back to Maine. So that the tournament ended for me Thursday. So I went back up Thursday night. And then we stayed Friday, Saturday, and drove home all day Sunday, which was a grind. Yeah, grind. But I think like Maine, like we went on a cool hike. We saw some cool stuff, but and maybe I just need to be more in like Maine and like do more Maine stuff. I don't know. But I wasn't like, oh my God, Maine is the best. I wasn't like it. Now I also have been over to Italy and done some other things, so maybe my expectations were tempered there.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, I don't know.
I love Maine. I love that, but I mean, really, I could drop you in the Adirondack Forest in upstate New York, and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference whether you were there in Maine. But
right,
it's kind of average every day that way. But I like the seclusion. I like the small town atmosphere. I like the mind your own business. The mentality is way different. It's a little slower when you get up the northern part. Just different. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
True. Yeah, again, it wasn't bad. It was. No. I mean, where we went was wonderful. I wasn't awestruck or blown away.
Right.
By like say if I were to, and maybe there's some other mountains or something that they could have taken me to, but like when I go to Skyline Drive down in the Shenandoah National Forest, and that's one of my favorite places to go. And even now, I took my daughters and Meg and I went down there like 3 or 4 weeks ago, and the second we drove on, it was the second we got there. Again, it was just like this feeling of like, yes, I love this place. I kept waiting to like drive somewhere and see something. I mean, we went to the lighthouse in Portland. That was pretty cool. The ocean looked cool. And maybe we didn't go to enough places. Like I didn't see any seals. I didn't see a whale. I was like, where are the whales at? Where are the moose at?
I think you're a little too far south for that.
Yeah, agreed. And that's why I kept getting. So maybe next
down east, as they say.
Yeah, down east. Yeah, there you go. So maybe next time I have to go and explore more.
How many lobster rolls did you crush?
I apologize to any Maine lovers on here that listen to this. You know who you are. Sorry.
How many lobster rolls did you crush?
I'm going to be very honest with you. I only had one lobster roll, and again, I'd rather just eat the lobster. Right. The lobster roll was okay, but we had lobster that we bought. I think it was $7.99 a pound, and we just had it steamed, and then we picked it up at the grocery store, and it was amazing. Like that was awesome.
That's an awesome part about Maine.
Yeah, and then we went out to eat, and they want $40 for a lobster pot, and I'm like, no, it's $7.99 a pound at the grocery store. It was
that's like people in this area with the blue crabs,
right?
You and I don't go head over heels about blue crabs, but you get somebody who comes in from another part of the country, and they're like, "Oh, I gotta have blue." I'm like, really? I mean, they're good, but they're not to die for.
Right. Yeah. So that was cool. Yeah, it was good because it was a little bit of vacation. It was a little bit of coaching. I don't want to call it work because to me, coaching is not work. I don't look at it as work. But it was fun. So, and with that being said, like I don't really have many complaints.
That's good. I'm glad because I don't really either. I mean, it's been a good 2 weeks. I mean,
yeah. One other thing before we move on to our first topic, I do want to shout out Pat, my goalie on Stevenson's ACHA hockey team, lives near Haverhill, and has been training at Merrimack College with some other elite goalies. And he took some time out of his evening to come meet at the hotel, talk with some parents, talk to some kids about his journey.
Oh, that's awesome.
Playing college, how he trains. There were a couple goalie parents there that talked with him for a good couple of hours. I thought that was really nice. So shout out, Pat.
Yeah,
that really meant a lot. That was really cool.
Good job, Pat.
Good job, Pat. I know a couple of my guys listen to this, so they'll give him a hard time.
Sure.
So now this is it's a good transition because we just got off. Well, I got off a vacation. You're still doing your thing. So we want to talk about our dream vacation, and I think we should limit it to 2 weeks.
Okay.
Because I think obviously a dream vacation could be like, I took a year sabbatical.
Right.
But
the rest of my life.
Right. Right. Yeah. So to put some parameters on it, that way we can kind of stay in one like realm. Let's do 2 weeks, dream vacation. Do you want to go first?
No. I don't.
Okay, good. Because I haven't thought about this at all. And so
neither have I. So you guys
purely off the cuff. So I met a couple of parents when we went downtown Boston, and they were like kindred spirits for me because one of my favorite things to do in any vacation is just randomly walk around and check stuff out or drive, one or the other, with unlimited agenda so that if I see something cool, I can just go check it out. So my dream vacation would be 1 week and it could be spaced out 7 days of the 14 with structured activities and exploring, and the other 7 days, structured activities that I know I want to do. The other 7 days unstructured, where I just am picking a place and exploring. And my dream would be in a place probably more in the Mediterranean area, so like Italy, Greece, maybe Turkey, all of Jerusalem, Egypt, like all in that area. I would like to spend 2 weeks, and I would like to, of those 7 structured days, check some stuff off my bucket list. I want to go see the pyramids. I want to go see the Acropolis. Thank you. That's a hard word to say. I want to go back to Rome. I want to go back to Rome and spend a little bit more time there. But just like some of the more like ancient civilization places, and then walk around. I really would like to walk around. If I am in my true dream vacation, I would also save like 3 or 4 days and go down to the Serengeti and check that out, because that is like the true birthplace of like people, but more like of an origin kind of expedition. I would really like, that would be my dream. And having the ability, and this is hard to do because sometimes some of these areas, the tourists are like roped off where you can only be, so close. But I would love if I could get like certain permission to like go into some of the temples or like see a tomb, or like that to me is so cool. Like
backstage pass.
Yeah, like when I studied abroad, there was a small group of us, shout out Chris and Sarah and Rich. We chose not to do the school trip at the end where they went down and did the Amalfi Coast, and like they had all like the tour guides and all this other stuff. We were like, we're not paying that money. We're going to do it on our own dime ourselves. And we did it way cheaper. And like Pompeii was so cool. And we didn't have somebody like pointing stuff out to us. We just got the map and just wandered around and like checked stuff out. And we're able to kind of, if we thought something was cool, we didn't have to like leave with the tour guide to go to the next thing. We could sit and enjoy that cool thing for a while. Because you haven't been over there yet to Pompeii.
No.
Like you know the history of Pompeii, those people, just the volcano wiped them out.
Right.
So there are people that are just mummified essentially
in
like in the volcanic ash, just like there. And it's wild to think that like that was their experience. So that would be my dream vacation. It's kind of vague, but I think I like that it's vague. I like that I would have a few targeted things I'd want to do, but then I also have some other things that it would just be like, I guess we'll figure it out. And I've done that before when I studied abroad, and when I go do conferences for work, I'll usually go a day early, and I'll have like one or two things I definitely want to do. Like last time I was in Vegas, I wanted to go to this waterfall, hike the waterfall, but then I also just would like pick a street, walk, see what I saw, and if I saw something cool, I'll just go check it out. Because if you do too much research, I feel like you miss things if you're not open to just kind of wandering around checking stuff out.
I agree with that. I mean, that's very. It's funny. The longer we do this, the more similarities I see that we have. Whenever I travel, I always I call it exploring.
Yes.
And kind of technology's actually made that easier for us now, because in the old days I had the big folding map while I was driving and trying to figure where I was going, but I'll go to a city and just drive around. And if I'm somewhere, like I did it when we came up to your house for the cookout, when we left your house, I didn't turn on Waze. I just started making turns.
Yep.
I'm like, think I'll go left, think I'll go right, and see what I can see where I'm at, see what this is, what that is.
Yep.
Dream vacation, 2 weeks, unstructured. I want to do everything on my own time. Don't want to do any of the tourist stuff, none of the cliche things, but I would like to travel all over Europe.
Yeah.
Italy, Spain, Germany, the whole 9 yards, Austria.
Yep.
I would probably I'd try not to at the beginning, but I'd probably end up following some sort of historical version of like what happened during World War II, just because I know like my grandfather was there, and
sure,
he left Africa, he fought in Africa, left there, came into Italy, and then went all through Europe, and maybe follow a path like that and think about what it was like to walk that instead of drive, or
right.
Lord. The cool thing is, I might get an opportunity to knock some of those things off the bucket list this year.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said, oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I think that's what I do. I wouldn't want it structured. I was one of the things I've taken some, elaborate vacations, going on cruises and stuff like that, and I don't like them. And some of the best family vacations we did, we just would go to a place and just wing it.
Do you know what I love too? Is I love renting cars and like you were saying earlier,
them, just wreck.
And just driving places, or even just enjoying the countryside while I'm driving. I do love to drive. So, like, I know it was a grind. I mean, driving up to Maine and back, it's a little bit of a grind. But the way we didn't take 95. We took some of the smaller highways down through Pennsylvania, and just some of the views were awesome. And I don't mind drive. I could drive all day if I'm looking at something cool. If I'm just looking at pavement and the car in front of me, I can't do.
That view on 95 is horrendous.
So bad. So bad. So the only thing I wish we would have done on the drive back is we had talked about potentially driving through New York, like doing the what is it, the George Washington Bridge.
Yeah.
But
either that or the Verrazano and check out the city skyline.
Yeah, it was just, I mean, it would have added another hour, and it just wasn't worth it to me. The girls don't.
No, it's so much easier to cut down through Williamsport, Pennsylvania, like you did, and come right down 17, 15, all that.
Stopped at the biggest Cabela's in the country.
Yes,
that was awesome.
Been there. It is pretty neat.
Yeah, the girls love that. Cool. So that's dream vacations. Which I think the hard thing too with vacations is, and I'm sure you're in the same boat, is there's just so many places that I want to see. It's hard to pinpoint, but I think that's my next go is what I was saying, more like I wanted to get to Greece, but that was such an expensive flight when I was over there.
Yeah.
I would love to go back there, but I want to see Australia. I want to see Africa. I want to see Japan. I want to see Ireland and Scotland. I would even love to do like one of those Arctic cruises where you go more
Yeah.
towards the Arctic. That would be cool too. So
I mean,
just
I know
lots of-
we were both very vague in what we said, and it wasn't really a dream vacation. I mean, we could have went 5-star and totally all inclusive, pampered, but that's not the kind of people that we are. We're both ambitious, outgoing people, and I would rather go see things on my own.
I get so bored.
Oh yeah, and I would like to do I think Scandinavia would be neat.
Yep.
Doing like Norway, Sweden, Denmark, up that way. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Maybe do a little island hop over to Iceland.
Our honeymoon, we did an all-inclusive resort, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But the best part was we did an outing to this place called Xel-Há. If anybody's listening that's about to go to Mexico, write this place down. It's in Maroma or whatever, outside Cancun. But it's XEL-HA, and the whole thing is all inclusive. So once you pay to get in, it's like $80 or whatever. All your drinks and food and everything's included. So you can go. The whole thing is in a natural lagoon. So they give you flippers and snorkeling stuff, and we snorkeled for like 4 hours, and it's just monster like angelfish. Like you see angelfish on the TV, you think they're like this, but like they were like big, like beautiful fish that were like 2-3 feet long, and barracudas and all sorts of cool stuff. There's parrots all over the place, iguanas. If you want to pay a little extra, you could swim with dolphins. If you wanted to pay a little extra, you could swim with manatees, which is what we did because Megan loves manatees, which was kind of cool. But also, I don't know if you know this or not, but the manatees were like swimming in a bunch of their shit.
Oh yeah.
So like we were swimming in their shit, which kind of was weird. But the manatees were cool because they come right up next to you, and I just cursed. There you go. I'm gonna say it again. Huge, man. They're huge. They're like mini buses, and they just would come like floating up next to you, like ooh. And they don't really do anything, but they would. They wanted like you could pet them or whatever, and super slimy, which was weird, but it was fun. It was fun. Um, So this is a weird transition, but our next topic I think is important because it's becoming more and more something that I want to be aware of as an adult, but also the other perspective that I was thinking about this today is as my kids, and I'm sure you're going through this a little bit too, get older and start using social media, is how to navigate friendships with social media. I think it's different for adults, especially adults. I'll use quotes adults because I'm an adult, but I kind of started with social media in college. You're an adult, but you started with social media as an adult.
Yeah, it's much later.
My kids are kids. As soon as they get a device, they're going to start having social media because that's how they're going to connect with their friends. Um, so how do we as adults navigate social media as adults in our friendships that we either choose to maintain, not maintain? And we'll have to be careful because I don't want to time any of my friends out on here. But then as kids, how do we teach our kids to value themselves in a way that like the keeping up with the Joneses, if you will, doesn't hurt or hinder different relationships or the way they perceive themselves, right?
Well, with kids,
You want to go there first? We'll start with kids.
well, yeah, because that's where you ended. So I'm going to jump on that one real quick.
Do it.
I think it's the way I did it. I mean, my boys were at a young age when they started with their devices. I mean, like your girls will be. I think the first one we might have made him wait till he was 12, and I think my youngest one had one when he was 9. So, as it goes, the rules get lighter. But
It's true.
education. Just educate them about it. show them when something hits the news where somebody does something stupid on social media, show it to them.
Yep.
But don't show it to them like, hey, look what you can do with this. Show it to them like, hey, look what happened to this person because they did this. I think the school systems in this area where I am on the Eastern Shore, they have a really, really good social media policy. Years ago, they had a no cell phones in school policy, and because of technology and they became more technology based, that they kind of had to lax that a little bit. You're allowed to keep your phone, you just can't have it out in class. But you got to educate the kids. I mean, they need to know what's acceptable, what's not acceptable.
The way I look at it too is like, even it's like takes, say, back when we grew up and we didn't have cell phones, it's the same kind of rules still apply, right? You were taught not to treat somebody like you wouldn't want to be treated, right? So you don't make fun of, you didn't make fun, or you were taught not to make fun of people because you wouldn't want to get made fun of. Talk about somebody behind their back because you don't want to get talked about behind their back.
Yeah, but that only works if you're a good person, Mike.
It's true.
I mean, seriously. I mean, your kids are gonna have friends whose parents don't teach them that.
Right, but
don't have those values in you, and they're gonna.
So you're misunderstanding me. That's me teaching my kid, right? But then at the same time, again, pretend there's no cell phones. My parents taught me people are going to make fun of you. Here's how you react. People are going to, be assholes or whatever. Here's how you can react. That's just life, right? Like people are going to lie to you. People are going to talk about you behind your back. And if you instill the confidence in yourself, then you don't care. And then people also tend to do it to you less when you don't care, right?
Yeah, but I get what you're saying, but I can't get behind it because in your example, it was pre-cell phones, and it was, and I was really pre-cell phones when I was a teenager. I mean, I'm 20 years older than you. So when I was in high school, middle school, high school, if somebody made fun of me or I was the target of, let's be honest, it's bullying. I mean, that's the PC word today. If I was a target of that, it maybe affected 20, 30 people at most. You figure the size of a class.
So you're going scale.
Yeah. So now if you put this into scale with social media, you can't turn the other cheek, so to speak. I mean, I think social media bullying or whatever the PC term for that is, when you trash somebody on social media, it goes viral. I mean, it's the world. It's you against the world.
It can feel that way, and I can see that as a kid, especially if it's not you against the entire world, but it's you against your entire high school, right? Or middle school or whatever. Yeah, it makes sense. But I think even still, that's reality, right? That's the reality of the situation today. So,
but I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's what I told my kids back then. Is like, look, if you go to the school and call Billy a bad word or whatever, and maybe 10 people hear you, those are 10 people are going to be affected by it. But if you put it on social media or put it on Facebook or MySpace, even to date myself a little more,
Jesus.
Everybody's going to see it, because if I put it on there, you're going to share it, and then 5 of your friends are going to share it, and it's like the old Fabergé commercial. And I told 2 friends, and I told 2 friends, and it just multiplies. So use that, because if my kid is going to tease somebody in school, he's not going to have the ramifications of it as if he did it on social media. And it kind of segues into the other half of this with me. I have a public image job. I represent a government agency. I'm expected to have a certain level of decorum, and my agency has a really strict social media policy. And it goes beyond what I think is maybe constitutionally correct sometimes, but it's their rules. I'll play by them.
Right.
But if I'm like you and I, we're good. How do I navigate our friendship? Well, on social media, me and you, I'm taking shots. I'm teasing you. We're BSing.
You're bullying me.
Right, I'm bullying you. We're screwing with each other, but you're bullying me back, so it kind of cancels it out. But if you ever posted something on any of your platforms that I thought was inappropriate, or even if I didn't think it was inappropriate, but somebody else could think it was inappropriate, then I'm going to unfriend you, unfollow you, unlike you, whatever. And that's what I've done with my social media. I have a very limited audience. If somebody posts something stupid, they get too far left or right of center on political crap, I don't need it. I don't want it. I'm out. I like the group discussions now, like some of the groups. Like, in fact, I shared you in that one group, the junior hockey group.
Yeah.
You seem to like that, because then at least there you have a target audience and you kind of know who you're going with. You're still not protected, but I'd be a little more apt to share with something there. But even there, I wouldn't like come out and talk to you like I would if it was just me and you. I would. It's weird.
Yeah, I've gotten past putting posts out on most social media that are from me. So there will be posts from Intellectual Nebula, that is my photography blog, essentially. There will be posts from Stevenson Hockey. There will be posts of my kids so that my parents or aunts and uncles or whatever can see, like, hey, look, we like went to a playground or whatever. But I used to, let's just see, almost 4 years ago, right? Because next year's the election year. So before, maybe 5 years ago, before the election year, and before things got really hostile on social media, for my opinion, like I would put stuff out there, like stuff I thought was funny, like satirical commentary on current events. I would put it on Facebook, and then I would have a bunch of people like it, and we would all comment, and it would be super sarcastic and whatever. I stopped doing that after the last election because people who I really cared about started fighting each other underneath of these comments. And I'm just internally have come to this conclusion that, like, I just don't care. I don't care what your political affiliation is, especially if you're a friend of mine. I really don't care. And I just want to maintain that friendship. So I just stopped. I stopped putting it out there.
Completely agree with you. And a prime example of that is how long it's been. About a year now that you and I have known each other.
Over a year.
Okay. I couldn't tell you what your political views are if my life depended on it. Same. And I don't think you could tell what mine are. Yep. And that's how I am, and that's how you are. And if I don't know, if you don't like the guy I like, then that's not going to change our friendship. I mean,
no,
I'm not that hardcore about it. And I've said this, and this is when I looked at the agenda for today's show, one of the things that came to mind is my closest friends, my true friends go to, the inner circle.
Yeah.
I do not interact with them on social media in any way, shape, or form. I don't like a Facebook post they have. They do the same. I mean, they're on Facebook. I'm on Facebook, but we don't, like, that part of it isn't, because I know the real person. I don't, if he posts some stupid picture, then he posts some stupid picture.
See, I won't go out of my way to like it, but if I see it, I'll like it. Yeah. One thing I won't do, and this is just something I started doing probably a couple years after college. So this is like 2010, 2011. I don't wish people happy birthday on Facebook.
I used to do it, and I used to feel bad when I stopped doing it and people would do it to me. And I went as far as to remove my birthday from Facebook so people would stop.
I say thank you. Like, I'll say, if people want to wish me happy birthday, I'll say thank you, and that's fine. But if I'm super good friends with you, to your point, I'm texting you when it's your birthday.
Exactly.
I'm giving you a call, or I'm out at the bar with you, and it's your birthday.
Right.
I don't need. I think sometimes it's a way for people to kind of like. To me, it's not even keeping touch, but almost like put your name back out and somebody.
It's you want everybody else to see that. Oh, Jim's still talking to Mike.
Yeah,
Jim. It's like, what? I mean, I ran into somebody a couple months ago now, and they were like, "Oh, are you on Facebook?" I'm like, "Yeah, not really, dude." I mean, and then I looked at this person on Facebook, and they live their life on Facebook. I mean, it's sad, really. I mean, I can't imagine living like that, where every breath you take, every shit you take is on Facebook, and you have to tell people about it. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Now, I will say one thing I have gotten feedback is I try to do it used to be Snapchat, but not enough. I don't really mess with Snapchat as much, but I do the Instagram stories because I can be a little bit sarcastic there because nobody can comment on them, and they go away from people's views in 24 hours. They don't go away. I know that they're stored somewhere, but I've gotten feedback from some of my friends that like maybe I haven't seen them a couple of years, and I run into at a wedding or something, and they'll be like, "Oh man, like I love watching your Instagram stories. They're so funny." So like, and people aren't texting me telling me that, but if I run into people, they'll say that, and that makes me feel good because that's why I do it. I do it if I make somebody laugh while they're at work or something, like that's cool.
Exactly.
I'm down for that.
Exactly. And I think I posted something like that on social media not too long ago. Like, if I can go through the day and just make one person smile over something I've done, then my day's better for doing that, or some weird thing like that. And I mean, I do them all. I'm on all three platforms, but I use it more of not to maintain friendships, not to establish friendships, but like I'm kind of weird with my Facebook. I just keep track of all the gossip that's going on at work or in my neighborhood or whatever group I'm in. With Twitter, I'm more of a professional hockey thing. My Twitter is pretty much a hockey Twitter feed, and everything I do in there is hockey related. And I'll retweet, great coaches' comments, or I mean, you've seen it. But my Instagram, that's like joke time. Everything on Instagram I do is, I think maybe I've had 8 Instagram posts, but it's all funny. It's like yours. I mean, I look at yours and laugh my ass off sometimes with some of the stuff that you put in on there, and it to me. But I don't use it. You said about maintaining friendships through social media. If that's all I am to you as a social media friend, then I don't need you as a friend. I mean, that's kind of the way I feel.
I'm not going to go there. I think for me, it is a way to maintain. So there
can be a use for it. I agree with you. If you have people across country or something.
So there's 3 groups of people I think that I am friends with on social media, maybe 4. I'm going to start with 3 and then I might add a 4th, so bear with me. 1 are people I am friends with that I happen to also be friends with on social media, or I was friends with at some point. High school friends, college friends, whatever. People who I've met through hockey, people who I've met professionally. 1, 2. Yep. So 4, and family. Most of those people, when I see them at a wedding or at a bar or whatever, I have some pre-existing relationship with them. It's easier to talk to them or reconnect with that person in person because we've had some kind of interaction over the last however many years prior to seeing each other in person. I think that's cool. I think some people that I've really cared about that I don't get to talk to as much because we're all super busy. Social media helps connect there. Same thing with family. Yeah, that's kind of my thought.
2 things I just thought of. One thing I was going to say was, I'm going to stop talking about this because before I present myself as a much more callous and shallow individual than I really am, because there's no way I can say what I'm trying to think without it sounding like if I don't see you on a regular basis, I don't give a shit about you. That's the way it's going to come out, and I don't mean it to come out that way. The second thing is I have an example of where social media, I used it as a tool in my family life. When my youngest son, Brent, was first diagnosed with his brain tumors, it was very difficult to talk about. And, you know, it was me and my wife and him, and we would have to talk about it. And then we would come home and I'd have to talk to the other children about it. And then I'd have to talk to my parents about it. And then I'd have to talk to her parents about it. And then Aunt Sally would call and we'd have to talk to her about it. And then Uncle Joe would call and we'd have to talk to. So we got into the habit of making a social media post.
Do you guys have a family group?
At that time we did, yeah. And it was also this extended so far that, I mean, with me in the fire department and in hockey, I had a huge network of people that knew about it and wanted to know things. My wife works at a pediatrician's office, so there was literally thousands of people there that knew about it.
Right.
So the hardest thing for her and I was to have that conversation at the beginning. Have that conversation over and over again with everybody, and you would lose details, and it just got tiring.
Sure.
So in that respect, we would use Facebook and make a post, you know, like, hey, we're at chemo today, everything's going good, levels are this, that, the other thing, prognosis is this, you know, right. Thank you for all your prayer. But it kept a lot of people, whether they lived next door or across the country, it kept them informed, and it kept me from having to
30 conversations.
Well, 30 would have been easy. Now, as time went on, I mean, we're 8+ years into this. It's actually easier for us to talk about it and more therapeutical now. But in the beginning, Facebook really, I was like, wow, that really makes it easier.
Sure.
That was just an example where I didn't maintain friendships with it. I didn't, you know, and it was one of those posts that was just shared with my friends. It wasn't a public post.
Right.
So, but yeah, I don't maintain friendships on Facebook. I value human interaction too much. The people I deal with on Facebook, I see on a regular basis. Let's put it that way. Not to sound callous, but I don't have a lot of friends from my childhood on Facebook. I don't have a lot of people I went to high school with on Facebook. I'm kind of an ass that way, I guess. But
damn, I mean, I could say like, and if this person's listening, I appreciate you. But there was a guy that I went to high school with that maybe was more part of like, I mean, I'm a nerd, but this dude maybe I also play sports, right? So, but people didn't necessarily talk to him very much. I talked to him a little bit, but I wasn't like friends outside of high school with him, right? We had a lot of classes together, but we didn't hang out, right?
Sure.
But we were Facebook friends, okay? And we ran into each other at our 10-year reunion. Man, that dude, we talked maybe like an hour and a half. We comment on each other's stuff. He posts a bunch of funny memes all the time. He thinks I'm funny. I think he's funny. So like, had that not happened, you know what I'm saying? Like, I may have missed out on that kind of relationship. And I think there's value there. I think that's cool. There's definitely been some times where he's going to school. He had a question for me about, you know, what degree did I get and what I was in. And from that kind of network, I've had not only him, but other people, you know, ask me questions, and I've asked other people questions. One of my friends from high school saw that Zoe and Eileen were playing soccer, and she coaches in the area. And she was like, "Hey, if they ever," she's like a goalie coach. She's like, "If they ever need help, like with goalie stuff, just give me a call. Like those kinds of things. To me, that's invaluable. To me, that's cool. And to me, I don't see that as like maintaining, friendships, because it's not like
No, you're right. You're right.
I'm not going to have beers with Becky, but I was always cool with Becky. She was always cool with me, and like down the road, if our paths cross, like I think that's cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's cool, and I get it that way. And I maybe I was looking at it too literally. I mean, I am very literal when it comes to things like that, and
No way.
maintaining friendships, and I do maintain acquaint.
I think you could just call it relationships, right? I mean,
well, yeah. I mean, there's a couple of guys I played hockey with back in Canada that I know I'm friends on Facebook with, but I don't follow them.
People will make fun of us, but going back to that levels, right? Like the different levels.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're not maintaining your level 4 and 5 relationships on Facebook.
Absolutely not.
But,
I see you've upped your level with Hammock there, huh? You know he listens to this too, by the way.
We spent the night together.
Right. You guys
so good.
Stayed in a hotel together. Hammock is a level 1 with me.
He smells so good.
Okay. Now you're getting weird again.
Oh man. No, we had fun.
As a coach, what are your thoughts on social media? Do you care what a player's social media is? Do you look at that? I mean, everybody talks about how recruiters and coaches are going to look at your social media. I mean, hell, it's on recruitment forms now. They want to know what your social media names are. They want your Twitter handle and your Instagram.
Yes, they do.
Call sign. I mean,
so do I care? Yes. But only about a couple specific things. I care when it comes to gauging what kind of character you have. So hard N's, hard F's, those kind of homophobic or racial things are hard pass, as they should be for anything. Like the college should be accepting you if that's going on, right?
So let me ask you this in reality, the real question, all right? And I agree with you, and you should be doing that. But I don't need names, not asking you that. Out of the last 100 kids you've recruited, how many of them have had piss poor social media that you were like, nope, not dealing with it?
0.
My point exactly.
Yep.
That kind of person, the kind of person whose social media you don't want, generally isn't the kind of person you're looking for as a that you're recruiting.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's two totally different, because they would have never made it to that level.
Well, and their grades wouldn't be that good. But the one I will say that I am concerned about, that I have had happen in the past, is depression. And I keep an eye on my guys, because I've had situations where players posted something, and whether it's about harming themselves or in a rut, or their girlfriend broke up with them or something like that.
Whatever. The sign's there.
The sign's there, and it allows me to just have an extra eye to make sure, because ultimately as a coach, we care about these people. We want to make sure they're good. So yeah, I care about the social media. I'm not stalker, but if you pop up in my feed, I see it. And there's definitely some times too where I'll be like, hey, I saw you posted this. Like, do you really mean that? And if somebody didn't know you, what would they take away from that? And
right.
And just think about those kinds of things, and think about the things too. Like I used to, I would give, because back in my day, when we were real depressed, or I was butthurt about a girl, you put up an AOL instant message, right? And it would be like song lyrics, or something super embarrassing that I'm kind of putting myself out there now, but whatever. We all go through that crap.
That skipped my generation, by the way.
We all went through that crap. Put up Killer's lyrics or whatever I'm doing. That's fine. Hey, that's fine. But what I try to tell guys is, like, that is an AOL instant message. Like right now, if you were like, I want to go look up Mike Ergo's old AOL instant message away messages, like that's not possible. You can't search for that. Right. But if I want to go look up if I want to go look up Dylan's tweets from 5 years ago, I could go look them up unless he's actively deleting them. And so look back at some of your tweets. Like, do you want people to look back at that and say, like, it's in you're posting a lyric from God knows what sappy band, and you're like,
so
gosh, what a loser! What was I doing?
Two things. One, off the subject. If I'm interrupting you, I apologize. I'm getting a jittery feed, and sometimes I'm trying not to look at the screen, but when I hear you stop talking, I thought you stopped, and it's actually. So I apologize if I'm interrupting you a lot today. I don't mean to be doing that. Secondly, I didn't do the AOL instant message thing, but I would make a mixtape.
Yes. There you go. Same thing.
Right. It's the same thing. I mean, and
like I'm sure there's some mixtapes where if I was able to search and play it right now, you'd be like dying in your seat, like, please stop.
Right.
Like,
or if you found one and played it, it would instantly bring back all the memories that you had when you made that. I mean,
there were some away messages I put up where I would just like, if you were to read it out loud right now, I would cringe so hard. God.
But that's what social media, like you said, I can go back and look at your tweets. I mean,
yep.
And I go back to what I was saying before about that not applying to everybody. Well, not everybody is being raised like you and I are raising our children.
Sure.
And they don't know. But I agree. If you're going to get a job and it's I mean, I'm not talking about you're applying to be the manager at Walmart.
I look up every applicant that applies to my company right now. All their social media.
Right. But what is the detriment to your company image if you brought somebody on that had a negative?
So
because you're dealing with businesses out there that these issues affect, right?
Right.
So if I'm not dealing with that, and my job's the same way. I mean, I serve the public, so I can't have what you and I would call an off the wall opinion about certain things, or be homophobic, or be racial, or be sexist towards women, or any of that. You know, my social media is everything's about guns. I mean, right. That wouldn't be a good thing because of the job I have. But if you don't have that kind of job, what difference does it make? If my son goes to get a job at Rita's, why do they need to know what his social media is?
No, I think professionally, what people look for is just a cultural fit, right? Like, and whether HR is happy with this or not, at any of my organizations I've ever worked with, you want someone, and culturally, I don't mean color. I mean, like,
I know what you mean.
Like, does this girl or guy like enjoy having fun? Or are they like, you know, if I pull up, if I interview a woman and I pull up her Facebook and it's got like Wiccan stuff and like all sorts of like demonistic things, I'm gonna think twice about giving that person the job. Like, that's weird. Now, is that HR appropriate? Good thing I'm not a hiring manager now, because there's nothing.
Why is
I'm
that weird though? That's where I don't. That's that person's right to.
Of course it is, but it's also my right as a hiring manager to look up and make decisions based on how I want to build my team.
Yeah, I don't dispute that. I don't necessarily.
Especially in today's day and age, where, I mean, there are some positions at previous companies that I've been at that they have 1,000 people that apply to them.
What's the biggest college scandal you can think of, sports related, where sports players did something wrong? It got on the media. It became national news.
Duke lacrosse.
The Duke lacrosse. Okay.
First
thing that came to your mind, right?
Yeah. Even though they got acquitted of that.
Right. But do you think every one of those players had their social media checked before they came in? I would almost guarantee they did. So even if you check somebody's social media and it doesn't show anything,
I'm not disputing that.
You're not going to eliminate all the problem. But I think some of these companies and some of these people, some of those people.
What do you mean, these people?
I think people just think that I don't know. It's like we're fear the enemy. Fear the enemy you know, not the one you don't.
Yeah, but I think if you look at social media, for the most part, and we're super generalizing here, so it's hard.
Yeah.
But for the most part, most people's social media is the keyhole view into whatever beauty of my life I want you to see. If my wife and I get into an argument, now there are some people that post that stuff, but if Megan and I get into an argument, I'm not posting on social media. If I'm having trouble paying my bills, I'm not posting on social media. If I'm have a flat tire, I don't post that on social media. Again, some people do, but for the most part, people don't. If people go on vacation, post it on social media. People get a raise or a new job, post it on social media.
Have
People
a baby, get married.
Have a baby, get married, lose weight. It's the hey, here's the cool highlight reel of all the cool stuff that's happening right now, right? So now, if I am an employer or if I'm just someone and I'm looking at your social media and I'm expecting to see somewhat of a highlight reel of who you are, and it's a low light reel, that causes me pause for a second. And I'm like, man, that's weird. I'm not saying I'm going to make a decision on it. I'm just saying if I'm collecting evidence, that's weird.
No, I can get that. And it's just like I just thought of something. It's just like if I was checking you out on social media and you were a huge fan of figure skating and you enjoyed tanning hides as a hobby, I'd be like, I don't want to hang out with this guy because I think that's boring and I think figure skating's not a cool sport.
You don't like tanning hides?
That's my opinion. But I can see where I would pass judgment and say, well, I might not like to be friends with this guy, or I might not want to hang out with this guy, or I might not want to hire this guy because he doesn't have the same likes as I do.
Right. Or if I posted a bunch of pictures of all my cool pop figures.
Yeah, that's kind of nerdy. But anyway, that's what makes us a great team because you're nerdy and I'm cool. Okay. Don't edit that out.
It's true. It's true. I'm probably the most uncool person here. I think that's a good debate, and you know what? Probably one that we'll revisit a few times.
Absolutely.
Because it's tied to so much stuff because social media is ingrained in everything we do. Kind of our last subject, which probably won't be as long. Amazon Prime Day wraps up a couple hours.
All right, hang on a second. I got one last thing I'm going to say. Just this thing. I saw this little wooden sign. You know the little wooden signs your wife has in the house, like today's a good day for a good day, or home is happy. I saw one of these when I was at Deep Creek Lake, and this applies to the social media stuff. Okay. And it actually fits my personality perfectly, but nobody would let me buy it. It was just a little wooden plaque, and it said,
I hate those signs.
It said, I'll be nicer if you'll be smarter.
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
Is that me? I mean, come on. If you're
I like that.
And it applies to the social media thing too.
That doesn't mean that people are stupid.
No, it doesn't.
Just act and do stupid stuff.
Right. Just be smarter. I'm not saying you're not smart. You need to be smarter.
Be better. Be better.
But anyway, Amazon Prime Day. What a freaking gimmick. We need to come up with something like this to get everyone focused on us for 48 hours.
Can I just say I love Amazon Prime?
Oh, I love Amazon too, dude. I do. It exponentially increasing every month the amount of shopping we do on Amazon.
It's Christmas in July at our house. I'll tell you what. Christmas in July. I bought a ping pong table.
I saw that. Where are you going to put that? In the basement?
Oh, yeah. I just cleaned it. I got home from work. Meg helped me. We cleaned the whole. So we have the shooting gallery where we shoot the street hockey pucks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then all in that area is all open now. So you put the ping pong table. It was on sale. I want to say it was like $300. Good deal. Gonna be here Friday. I'm so pumped. So pumped.
I think promotionally, it's a great thing. The way they're doing this Amazon Prime thing, I mean, they advertised it for like 30, 35 days ahead.
You just got to double check the prices everywhere, right? Like I went on Dick's Sporting Goods and checked the same exact ping pong table for $400. So I knew that I was getting a deal.
It's funny you should mention that. I have, we talked about this in the past. I'm a Chromebook guy. I have a little app on my Chromebook. It's called Honey, Honey.
Oh, you were telling me about this.
So whenever I go on Amazon and I click on an item, right before you get to the point where it says add to cart. So I'm on that screen where I'm looking at the item and I have the add to cart button is sitting there. The Honey app takes over and it pops up within Amazon and it tells you if this is the best deal or not. You say best deal, yes. Best deal, no. But you can hit price history.
Yep.
So when you told me we were going to talk about this, I started looking at everything I was doing on Amazon because I did look for a lot of stuff and I did get some stuff that was way cheaper. But I noticed 2 or 3 things that the price I was buying it at was more than it was 5 days ago.
Right.
But less than it was 10 days ago.
Right.
So if I had bought this item 5 days ago, I would have saved another $25. But so it was interesting to sit and look at the things. I mean, don't get me wrong. There were some really good deals on there where they dropped stuff, 50%.
Now, Amazon, it gets weird about that, though, because I bought Meg an Echo Show for Christmas.
My son and I just bought one yesterday.
It's awesome. You guys are going to love it. And it's in our kitchen, so she can be watching her show while she's cooking or whatever, asking for recipes, setting timers, all that stuff. Awesome device. But I bought it, and I don't know, say it was $150. Well, I went on to buy more Christmas presents the next week, and it was $100. And so I was like, well, that's bull crap. So I contact Amazon. I'm like, hey, I just bought this for $150. You should just adjust the price. And they said, we can't do that. But what you can do is buy it for $100 and then return the one that you spent $150 on. And I was like, that makes 0 sense because you guys are going to spend shipping for shipping it a new one to me and then shipping me a new label and shipping the old one back to you. And they said, yep, that's just how you got to do it. And I was like, okay. So that's what I did. I bought 2 of them and I shipped back the one I paid the extra $50 for.
And I know at the end it all worked out, but at some point in that transaction, you were out $250 for a day or two.
Yeah, but it's still stupid on their part. They lost money in the transaction.
I'm like,
because they had to pay for the shipping.
But they openly told you, well, send that one back and buy it again.
Yeah. So I was like, all right. I mean, what do I care? It's $100. Like, and I'm floating it for 3 days or whatever it was. And
right.
I printed the free shipping label and took it to UPS the next day and shipped it back.
Right. Didn't even open the box.
No, because it was a Christmas present just sitting in my closet.
I do a lot of shopping on Amazon.
I do all my Christmas shopping on Amazon. I have an Excel spreadsheet because I'm a nerd. And then I do all the cousins and all the people I got to get Christmas. And I can keep track of what I ordered. So that way, when it all comes up, starting to wrap it, I don't forget which kid got what.
I guess that makes me a nerd too, because I do the exact same thing with the kids. I make a spreadsheet, a Google Doc.
Yep.
I got an Excel spreadsheet. I got, each name, what I bought. Then I put the price because, we got to keep it. When you get kids older, they can start doing math. You got to figure, well, you spent like $700 on him, but only $400 on me. And
that's because I only love you $400 that much.
Right. I told Dylan, and that's the way he is now. So,
well, all right. We thank everybody for listening. We'll be back again next week for episode 5. I can't believe we're already in episode 5 coming up. That's awesome.
Oh my God. Cinco.
So have a good week, everybody. Don't forget to like, subscribe,
Like,
comment,
subscribe,
do cool
comment.
stuff, share our stuff. We
What
want
he
to be
said.
famous. We want to do cool things and get cool things and do cool stuff with our cool friends. Actually, he is going to do it because he's cool and I'm not. But let Jim be cool.
Intellectual Nebula LLC reserves all rights to the content and views included in their podcasts and content on their site. Views and opinions discussed on this podcast and any Intellectual Nebula LLC platform are the thoughts and opinions of those who stated them only and are not a reflection of anyone's employer or association. All thoughts and opinions on this podcast are just that, thoughts and opinions. If you are seeking specific professional advice, please use the Contact the Nebula button on our website, intellectualnebula.com, and we can put you in touch with Coach Jim or Coach Urko.